A few weeks ago, my friends, I received an email from a guy named Pete, and he was telling me about this crazy stove that he found on AliExpress. I went to AliExpress, I checked it out, and it is indeed crazy. This is a very interesting stove here. One that I've begun testing out that I'm very excited to tell you all about. This thing is really, really cool, and at the same time, it's really, really different. As you can see here with the storage case, this stove has an interesting shape, but that's not half of it. This is a double burner stove that expands like an accordion of sorts. It goes from this form factor to a rather large stove setup. It's very impressive. At the same time, it is very, very different. This is something that I talk about often here on the channel. When it comes to outdoor gear, and it doesn't matter if we're talking about tents, sleeping bags, we're talking about chairs, stoves, whatever. So many of the designs that we have today are basically copies of other products. So anytime that you're going out, you're looking for a new product, it's the same thing over and over and over, but with a different logo on it. That is certainly not the case with the BRS-32 stove. This product features a design that I've never seen before. This is truly different, truly unique. And that is what this episode is all about. This is the storage case that this stove comes in, and as you can see, it is indeed very different. You have one zipper, along with a hand strap up at the top. Now check this out. What did I say about this stove being different? It is, without a doubt, unique. Let's take the stove here and let's unfold it and set it up. Allow me to show you all how this folds and unfolds one more time. So this is the stove. It collapses just like that, very thin. Then it opens up just like that. That is pretty neat. To make this sort of folding and unfolding possible, this stove is covered in hinges. That way you can open it up and also close it. Again, this features two burner heads, each with its own pot supports. On the bottom, you have legs to get the stove off of the ground or off of your table. That way you don't have to worry about heat or anything like that. And here you can see the gas lines that go over to adjusters. And this is where you attach the gas canister. Each one of these burners can be controlled separately, and you can simmer or go all out. When it comes to the company BRS, they've been around for a long time, and they have a rather good reputation for making a wide range of stoves. The BRS-32 is a very popular stove amongst backpackers, thru hikers, because it's so small, so lightweight. It is without a doubt one of the smallest canister stoves out on the market today. And the thing is this, it only costs like $17. That is something else that this company is known for. Very budget-friendly products that simply work. With the BRS-32 stove that you see here on this table, this was designed out of the box to run on isobutane canisters. But you can purchase adapters for this stove. So you can run it on butane, which is very inexpensive, or you can run it on propane, which runs better in the winter. That's pretty cool. That translates to a ton of versatility with this stove. Each burner features 6,600 BTUs. And when it comes to the measurements, when stored, you are looking at 11.5 inches long, 3.5 inches wide by roughly 3.5 inches thick. When the stove is set up, you're looking at 16.3 inches long, 7.3 inches wide, and 3.7 inches tall. You have a wide range of different materials here, including stainless steel, copper, aluminum, you have some bronze, and you even have some tin. When it comes to weight, 2 pounds, 2.4 ounces on my scale. If you want to include the storage case, add 4 ounces. Now get this, everybody. When it comes to price, $60 for a double burner stove. That is out of this world. That beats out even the cheapest double burner stove that you can find on AliExpress. This is a product, folks, I don't know if I mentioned this, that you can find in the US, $60 on Amazon, free shipping if you have Prime. That's impressive. We've gone over the main features of this stove, but there are a few more to talk about. For one, this stove does have built-in windscreens. Basically, the way that the body goes around the burners, this offers a fair amount of wind resistance. Now you can see next to each one of these burners, you have these tubes. These are preheat tubes that are going to assist with the performance of the stove in cold conditions. Basically, the fuel goes through those tubes, and when you have the stove running, it heats up those tubes, heats up the fuel, and you have better performance. As I mentioned earlier, I've begun testing out this stove, so why don't we go ahead and talk about my initial impressions with this. I've used this on 3 different trips, and I can tell you this much. I like this product. I think this is really, really cool. For the money, it's a really good performer. Quality-wise, Again, I'm impressed. This only costs $60. You have 2 burners, it has preheat tubes, and it can run on just about any sort of fuel with the exception of white gas. There's no issues when it comes to the manufacturing process. All of the edges are smooth. The materials are good. I will say this, that the way that the stove opens up, you have to be careful, because if you're not, you can easily bend one of the 10 sides, like I've done. When the stove arrived, I took it out of the storage case and I opened it up, and I was curious, like, how far can you do this? Well, there is a limit, and I found it, and I went beyond it, and the end result was that I bent one of the 10 sides. Luckily, because it's 10, you can fold it right back very easily. As far as durability goes, I do not think this is going to be an issue. Once you set it up the first time and you see what the shape of the stove is, you're not going to have any issues. You're not going to pull it open further than the stove naturally wants to go. It is my advice, if you purchase one of these stoves, be gentle with it. Don't pull a loop, don't muscle it, don't grab the sides, and just, be careful. Be careful. When it comes to being careful, I would be careful with this side here and this side here. When this opens up, these 2 panels slide over the top of each other. So if you're not careful, you'll bend one of these and you'll cause a little bit of a hiccup in this motion. To be on the safe side when opening this up, open it up by the thicker pieces of metal instead of pulling on these sides. So basically grab the bottom frame, the pot supports, and open it up that way. As far as the storage size goes, it's very impressive. Again, this is a very small stove in a very small case. It's especially impressive when you consider that this stove has 2 burners. As far as the size of the stove goes when you're actually cooking on it, this is good for 2 medium-sized pans, or 1 large pan, 1 medium pan. And of course, you can go smaller if you want to. There's no way to get 2 large pans on top of this stove at the same time. For most people, most trips, that's going to be okay. What this offers is sufficient. Next, folks, when it comes to the pot supports, this will support even very small cups. So you can use very small cups all the way up to large pans. This is the MSR Titan Cup, and it's one of the smallest, lightest cups out on the market today, and it easily fits on top of this stove. As far as the weight goes for this system, I'm impressed. Again, this is a double burner stove, and it's not super heavy. For most people, it's too much to carry for like a backpacking trip, but for car camping, overlanding, off-grid cabin, and so on, this is going to work nicely. As far as the ease of use goes, there's nothing to it. This stove is very simple. You have dual adjusters for each burner. They work very, very well. You can easily get this stove to simmer or go all out. I will say though, it's a shame that this stove does not have any form of igniter. That's why I would recommend a good lighter. Something like this is going to work very well because it extends out. This is from Soto, and this is a little torch, and it works perfectly with this stove. You can ignite each one of these burners with a lighter as long as you come in from the side. I've already spoken about the windscreen aspect of this stove. It does work well with light to moderate breezes. In very windy conditions, you will still need some sort of external windscreen. And then lastly, again, you can run any type of fuel on this stove, and I think that is awesome. In the spring and the fall, you can run isobutane. In the summer, you can run butane because it's so inexpensive. And then in the winter, run propane. You basically have a stove here that could be used in all 4 seasons. And that's very impressive, especially when you go back to the $60 price tag. It is that $60 price tag that absolutely blows my mind. Most double burner stoves are very expensive. Some can even cost $300 or more, but not this one, 60 bucks. I'm just super impressed, especially with the overall performance. Now, talking about the performance of this stove, 6,600 BTUs for each burner. That's not bad, but that's not record-breaking by any sort of means. These offer plenty of power for boiling water, for cooking, and so on. But if you're looking for the fastest stove possible, this is certainly not it. With a little bit of searching, you can find stoves that offer more BTUs, but you're going to pay quite a bit more as well. For most people, this is plenty. This will get the job done with no problems. As far as my testing goes, I'm only getting started, but I wanted to share with you all my thoughts and opinions on this based upon my experiences already with this stove. This is such a unique product. It's so cool, so different. I was excited to share it with you all. With everything that I'm seeing from this stove so far, it's a major go. For 60 bucks, I'm super impressed. The way that it folds up and unfolds is unlike anything I've ever seen before. It features a new design, it's a different design, and I really like that. In a world of copycat products, having something fresh and different is a huge plus. For this episode of the Outdoor Gear Review, I am done. Everyone make sure to comment down below, share your thoughts. What do you all think about this stove? So far, I'm super impressed. If you found this episode helpful, hit the like button before you go. Also consider subscribing. Additionally, if you want to support the channel, you can do so on Patreon, on YouTube. You can join the Wolf Pack. I'm not here to sell products. I'm here to share information, and that's that. This channel is 100% agenda free. That means that you all support this channel and no one else. A company can't buy me and they cannot buy my opinions. And that means that I have to go out and purchase just about everything that you see on the channel. Anyways, folks, my testing with this stove continues. Everyone take care, be well, strength and honor. I will see you all around soon. Oh, by the way, make sure to check out my second channel, A Quiet Place Adventures. Weekly adventures that are very much different than those that you find on this channel. If you enjoy the content, make sure to subscribe. Thanks everybody, it means a lot.